Alright, there we go. Alright. Hello, everyone. Oh, well, it went into demo mode, so I guess that gives me a bit more time to say this. But hey, I'm Stump, and I'll be doing some Spyro 120%. It's nice to get to start this off. So time for this starts when I gain control, which is after cutscenes. So if you're ready for that, I can get going through this.
All right. So we said when
yeah, I'll count down to the time to start the timer if you're good.
Yeah, ready.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, rolling. Oh, it's been peaceful.
All right, 3, 2, 1, start time. All right, so here we go. So this is Spyro 120%, so I'm going to have to rescue all of the dragons, get all the gems, get all the eggs, and just go through the whole game doing that. So we just did our first thing of rescuing a dragon.
That's all I can tell you.
You just touch the platforms to do that. Normally you can skip them, but this first one, Nestor, is not skippable. And then we'll start by going to the flight level of this first world, and for each flight level there is sort of a thing you have to do to get into it, and in this case it was jump on all of those stone things. So here we are. In these flight levels there is one per world. There are 4 sets of 8 targets, and I just have to get all of them before time runs out to get all of the gems that this level has to offer. So the planes lined up in a way that I hopefully should be able to... oh. There we go. Yeah, that flame hitbox does reach out a lot farther than you might think. So there's that. I gotta then go around the outside of this to get these arches. I see that there has been a donation, so this would be a good time for it. Alright, alright, these... So at the end, when I hit the final target, I am going to be positioned down a little bit, and that is so that Spyro normally would like fly forward and up into the sky, celebrating getting all the targets in one shot, but Spyro runs into something, that animation just ends, so you want something to be in front of Spyro so that you don't have to wait for that to happen. So that will then bring us into the first sort of standard level that we'll do, Dark Hollow. Yeah, this is the level that's sort of intended to teach you the mechanics of enemies that are large or have metal armor, and the need to flame or charge them respectively. And here I will, well, I made sure that well, actually for every dragon platform that I hit, I'm going to be trying to hit them at the angle that's closest to where Spyro would be at the end of the cutscene of talking to the dragon, because before the dragon breaks out, Spyro will automatically walk there, and it's faster for Spyro to get there if he's already as close as possible to it. But sometimes gems around the dragon can sort of force you to not quite get to the best spot for that. And now we got more larger enemies there. And then when we do these, I'm going to do a little bit of a, well, actually two things going on there. I was gliding against the wall that's sloped a bit. Doing that is called wall gliding, and that allows preserving, or if you get your angle just right, even gaining height on your glide. And I also charged at the end to get a slight extra boost because Spyro does go up a little bit more into the air when you charge out of a glide, and that can allow you to make things you otherwise would not. So we exited that level by using the exit vortex. Normally we won't do that, but we had to do that in at least one level for this dragon mouth to open. Although it is possible to wall glide out of bounds from another area to enter this from the back. But this is Toasty. This is the boss of this world. So one of the odd things about world bosses in this game is that, well, if not for this being the full collection category, the bosses would effectively have been optional. They're just another level that happens to have a boss in it. And they tend to be bit tougher than other levels in other ways too. Like, they often have less fodder, or in this case, none at all. Now, hey, so there are these dogs that I have to hit twice, although that one I caused to jump off the edge and that automatically defeated it. But generally, that's a case of flaming them, jumping, and getting them again. But here is Toasty. I just have to flame him 3 times. Yeah, okay. So, also, we had multiple gems spawn from that final thing. And if you charge and stop over a spot where that's happening, or if you roll over it like I did there, that will cause the gems to automatically home in on you to make it easy to collect them. So we got another little trick we'll do to get up to the top here earlier than we're supposed to. So that water falling into that thing here gives you the tumbling animation if you try to stand on it. And normally that forces you down it. But if you hold jump while you are landing on it, you can still bounce off of it. So that's what I did there to get up top here. And here is our first egg thief. So there are 12 of those in the game, all of which are in the first 3 worlds out of the 6. So that's the collectible that we hadn't seen yet. Gotta get all of that. And I did something a bit special to that last chest. So normally when you flame a chest or an enemy, the gem from it just drops. Or if you charge through it, it automatically homes in on you. But since I was trying to turn around there, I didn't want to charge through it, but I also still would like to have it home in. So even if you destroy something with flame, if you're charging close enough to it as the gem spawns, the gem will still home in on you as if you had charged it. So that is called flame charging. I'll be doing that various places throughout this, including many levels where there are a lot of those. And I'll get a locked chest down here with that key that was in that seaside cave, but this will be a case of another example of charging and stopping over where a large number of gems are spawning. So we pop out here. So we finished this level route in here. Now these 2 rows of chests, if I position myself just right, I can break all of them in one charge through. I didn't quite do that, but I was close. And that is Stone Hill. So, a little bit more cleanup to do, and I have... So there's one of those thieves here that needs 3 hits, so I'll sort of route those into getting the rest of what is sort of in this area. And that brings us to Town Square. And this will be the first appearance of some new chest types that will be all over a lot of the rest of the run, but we first see them here. So up at the top here is a spring chest. If it's hit, the gem is fired up into the air, and then you have to jump up and get it. Long sequences of them can be a bit annoying, but that's just how things are. So here I'm going to, again, take some advantage. Didn't quite get there, but some advantage of charging at the end of a glide. There we go. And there's this other egg here, if I can actually get up there. And this sort of gives me an upper path to the end of the level, sort of like around where I turned back from to get onto this thing. And here's another new type of chest, the fan chest. I have to flame it 3 times to get it going fast enough to break. And a piece of debris flies off that can do damage to something else, like a chest or an enemy that it's pointed at. We'll be making use of that in a few levels still to come. Right now we just have to round up what we have here. That's Town Square. And then just have to make our way to the balloonist for the next world, because we have now pretty much finished this one. If I can actually get through all of those. There we go. This might be a good time for anything that needs to be said. So here we are in World 2, Peacekeepers. This is more of a, there's a lot of a desert theme to it. And a lot of the levels, well, they're going to tend to have a few more gems than the previous ones did. But at the beginning of this level, Dry Canyon, we'll be taking advantage of the fan chest projectile. So if you listen carefully to what's going on here, you can hear an enemy get killed up at the top there. That was from the projectile from the fan chest, which is why I was facing the direction I did when I opened that chest. These birds appear in a few levels in this world. Their hitboxes actually extend down somewhat farther than you might think they would. So you can often be charging and just jump during it and get a bird that's on one of those posts that you are just passing, especially if the post isn't that high. And sometimes rolling sort of after the hitting a dragon. Oh, that 25 gem came from that enemy that we killed with the fan chest projectile. Right. So that's sort of the top part of that. I'll get that egg thief and go on over to the other sort of side part of the level. And there's a row of spring chests. And it sort of helps not to lock there. That sort of thing about the hitbox hanging down a bit below what it would look like is what I did with the left bird there. And we have another type of chest we haven't seen before. Here is a fireworks chest. You normally would want to flame it and, well, be far enough away to not get damaged by it when it explodes and releases its gems, but we can spare the hit point, so I just charged into it so it would instantaneously explode and let me get to the gems that are in it. So this those with the disembodied pair of eyes peeking out, those are extra life chests. So actually, charging into those, you always bonk on it, so that's why I flamed it to open it. Not because of the extra life in it, which I didn't stop and get, but because it was in the way. So the second level in this cliff town, there's a jump at the beginning of this that I'm going to be trying to do, where sort of also again be taking advantage of the physics of surfaces that are sloped upwards. We got that. So because of that, I don't have to glide down to that from that high area to the left. And with those pots, you've got to make sure that your flame actually hit it so that the gem inside will come out. egg. So there are these platforms here where I'm going to sort of... What I did there was that was making use of charging at the end of a glide to make that jump up there that I shouldn't be able to. And they really like putting things just out of reach in this, so yeah, much fun can be had with ways to get just a little bit more reach. Also, that rocket I lit down there is what opened up that chest whose gems I just collected. So we have this area here to clear out where there are a lot of those birds on those posts, so we'll have a bunch of again taking advantage of those hitboxes. One more. I did get that, even though it ended up sort of trying to dive behind me. That's that last dragon for that. A few more gems that from the rooftops I can glide to over there. And that is Clifftown. So you saw some cannons in the homeworld. Now we'll actually sort of make use of them, because there are some things I need to blow up with this. Notably, a couple of these armored chests. Oops, didn't have it quite there. So they do, the cannonballs do sort of home in on something that they can hit as long as you're pointing reasonably close to the right direction. So that's sort of the only thing there is with aiming the cannon. But that brings us to Dr. Shem, the boss of this world. And yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. But first we've got those enemies that run at me. And if I miss them, they eventually go off the edge and drop their gem there. I will be coming back through there, so that's why I have... you saw some gems drop, so that's fine because of that. And that's a bomb. Alright, well, since there's that, I guess I'll get the other gems I will be leaving here, since I... Yeah, this will at least let me take advantage of that death to... Okay, I guess I'll have to get that after I come out that top area there. But that's not really a huge thing to leave. Okay, let's do what we actually wanted to do here, which is go over here and get this. And this key for the locked chest later. Oh, also with whirlwinds, I will often jump before I go into them so that I am moving sort of a bit upwards when I'm like when it wants to start to pull me into it, and that gets me up it a little bit faster. But here's Dr. Shem. So there is armor everywhere except his back, so I just gotta know the movement patterns so I can be in position to flame his back. There's another roll over at Gem Swampton. And then we will clean this up. And there was one that, oh wait, I already had the gem from that, so we're good there. Alright. So the next thing here's so sort of the secret thing to do to get into this flight level was blowing up that rock with a target painted on it. And there's a sort of unique thing about this flight level, which is that every single target is stationary, so there isn't really so there's no cycle element to this one like there is with all the others. It's just a case of getting to all the places. You can sort of see how this presents you a path through all the sets of targets in order, but, well, of course, we'll mix things up a bit to get it done faster, but yeah, for some parts like those chests, there isn't really a way to, well, aren't really anything next to it to add to it. So this egg thief is the last one for this world. Oh. I got a little bit of stuff to get in here, including the lock chest that we just got the key for. So, the little bit more homeworld cleanup, we will get to the last level of this world. And that will be Ice Cavern. So most of this level is the surroundings of a huge bottomless pit. But there's plenty to do along the edges of it. And the 10 gem in that window, yeah. There's some sort of interesting strats to micro-optimize that. But there are also some of these lampposts that have gems on the top of them, so you gotta charge into the post to knock the gem down. But we got that key on the island there, and we still have it when we respawn here, so we can go get the locked chest that's still up here. And then these, they are both fully metal armored and large, so what you have to do is charge them to knock them off the edge. There are a couple coming up later where if you hit them at the right angle, you can defeat them in one hit when they normally would take two. Although how many they're supposed to take is just based on where they are relative to the edge. So here, well, let's see how we do at magic stairs. And that would do that. So for that one, it's a case of pretty much any direction, it's going to still take 2 hits, so you want to do that in a way that will cause the gem that comes from that one to be in a good spot relative to the other ones. So here's one where we'll take a slightly different angle to it so that we only need to hit it once. So Sparks was eating a butterfly there, so wasn't there to pick those gems up off the ground next to me and cause them to home in on me, so I did have to actually touch them.
So Stump, Twitch chat has broken out into a discussion about what kind of silly hat would be best on Spyro. What do you think?
Oh, that's... I think... how about a propeller hat?
Ooh, that's an inspired choice.
So here we are at the beginning of Magic Crafters, the world number 3 out of 6. There are a lot more dragon eggs in this. It sort of just started with one pretty much. But one of the things about this world is, as you might expect from the name, there is a lot of magic going on. And in this case, various wizards using it to move platforms around to keep things away from me. But here we're using a fan chest projectile to defeat that one, so that I didn't have to move away from and then back towards it to have it be low. And that's also how I defeated the one that was hiding behind that very large clump of grass that was being, that one raised on the right. So this surface here is one that causes the tumbling animation. Well, the wizard raised the steps again before I actually landed on it like that, but I could have held jump to just bounce up it. And these blue wizards, they shoot a projectile, so you gotta watch out for that when you know they're around. Somehow the one over here is able to do its sort of cycle for that even when you don't have them fully on screen, so you gotta know that that one's coming so that you can dodge it. There's that little side path there. And I don't really have to worry about the cycle of this thing being raised and lowered because due to, well, it worked out anyway, but by charging at the end of my glide, I can land on the top of it even when it's raised. And there I can get close enough to the wizard to sort of cause the scared running around mode to start, and that causes the platform to lower. And that metal-covered wizard up here, yeah, you might have caught it throwing what looked like an apple into the mouth of one of those large monster things. That's one of the sort of fun things about this game. You sometimes, yeah, they put in some inter-enemy interactions just to make things a bit more interesting. Now, there's a lot of mountains around this, and yeah, they didn't put collision data for all of them because they didn't think you could actually get up there, so that's what happened there. And then the last few gems in this level come from these fireworks chests that yeah, you would, well, this one, if you hit it just right, while it will knock you back, it will not knock you off the pillar, so that works there. So in this little part of the homeworld here, we are introduced to a new mechanic. Supercharge. Charging down one of those ramps and getting a supercharge lets you break some things that you normally can't, like that locked chest for which the key is later in this homeworld, and it would have been really annoying to have to come back here with it. So this is High Caves. And there are a few different routes through this level. This is the one I do of going into the cave portion first. But those large and armored things, yeah, you do need something more powerful to defeat those, but thankfully there is a supercharge. And you can't be hurt while you're supercharging, so I was able to supercharge through those fireworks chests and cause them to instantaneously explode without even being knocked out of the charge. There are a few things along this long path provided to chase the egg thief through. And we can make that with a nice glide, but this pit here is sort of special in that if you fall into it, there are fairies that will rescue you and bring you back to the top of the supercharge. I was really hoping that I would get launched through that wizard and then be able to land up here, but As long as I got through the thing in that first room, that's still nice because I don't have to take this super flame here all the way back there. So there are only 2 levels with super flame fairies. That's one of them. Well, this is one of them. So that just makes your flame more powerful for a bit of time. So now we deathwort back there, top of the supercharge ramp, and we can deal with the with these things here. And with the large blue wizards. Okay, saved. I sort of wanted to let go of my supercharge right after I went through that last one, but yeah, that didn't work out. Because of that, I wasn't sure where I was on the platform movement cycle, so I could have made that, but... okay. There we go. So there are these cave areas that you can see at the bottom of that supercharge ramp pointing to. You're sort of intended to use the supercharge to get over to these, but turns out that you don't need it. At least not for movement purposes here. Because for this one, it is close enough to this one that you can just glide to it. And there is an egg thief on the ledge of a sort of thing to the left. So that's why I opened that first fan chest in the direction that I did, so that the projectile from it would defeat that egg thief off screen and I still get the egg. And there's that armored chest that I could break with that supercharge. And we reach Wizard Peak. So there's sort of this outside path here. And that's, oh, this is intended to be the way that you get up to some ledges visible from the indoor sections here that you can see, well, that have blue wizards at the top of them, and some gems and such. You can do weird things with the supercharge ramp that's later in the level to get up to at least the second one, but yeah, it's not something I've gotten to know how to do yet, so yeah, we'll do it this way and hopefully get this wall glide so that I don't have to spend a life to do this. And we got it. So it's not too much of a loss if I didn't make that, because I would have respawned at the beginning of the level where I could have just taken that path over to that, and I would be there after, I would be right back at that landing point after my, after the first jump. But now we reach the supercharge portion of this. There, we'll go right through some fan chests. And this level actually introduces the mechanic of doubling up supercharges. You can see that the smoke behind Spyro turned orange instead of yellow. Also, while you're supercharging, Sparks has a somewhat larger radius for grabbing gems, which in that case, since I supercharged against that wall, includes picking up some that are behind that wall, because they're close enough, even when you don't consider the wall, that, well, that can still happen. So I sort of dove down onto this one. I still didn't have enough speed to get up to that, but yeah, if I did that a bit differently, I would have been able to get out to that even with just the one supercharge. But yeah, here we just, since we respawn at the dragon, fall back to the intended way of doing it with double supercharge. Get this here, and then we just have to climb up the ending part of this. Oh, I am short 5 gems. I probably didn't hit one of these. Perhaps one of the ones that is up here. Yep, there we go. Yeah, one of the things that you get to know in this category is what your gem count should be at certain points. So I knew that I should have 407 when I rescue that dragon, but I didn't have that, so I knew that I had to go back and get something I missed. And this egg thief is the last one. So we are all done with eggs. All 12 of the eggs are in the first 3 worlds. Probably has something to do with how the normal balloonist requirement for this is to have gotten 5 of them. But that is Wizard Peak. So we have a sort of trick with the next portal we're entering. So Spyro does this animation of moving into the portal, and the camera follows him. And the level doesn't... I don't think I got it. The camera was too close. But what I was trying to do there was... So Spyro would sort of do a flying animation through the portal. And he keeps moving. But the level would have remained loaded until the camera went into the portal too. So... yeah, if I had not had the camera that close, I would have gotten that dragon without having to even watch any part of the cutscene. But since I didn't get that, I will end up landing on that dragon platform when I reach the end of this level. And looks like the planes that I didn't get at the beginning were, well, they lined up in particularly convenient ways. And then we sort of do that for the animation skip so that the base of that arch is still right in front of us. Yep, as I thought, we did not get dragon skip. But all we have left in this world now is the boss level. And the boss here is known as Blowhard. Now this is actually a sort of pretty compact level. And there are gems, like a lot of them pretty much continuously, including a large amount for delivering the final hit to Blowhard. So this level actually is one that even in any percent, you tend to do almost all of it. The gem to time ratio is highly favorable. Ooh. Ah, all right, we'll have to go back around. The cycle didn't quite line up. There we go. Alright, well, the important thing is we just had that dragon, so that is where we are going to respawn. So that brings us to our second hit there. I got a gold spark, so it's fine to spend a hit of that to get that fireworks chest open fast. And we will... one of the gems still got away. Yeah, Blowhard's final gem spawn sort of throws a lot of them pretty far, so sometimes one escapes. But that is Magic Crafters. So this is Beastmakers. Yep. Sparks is eating, so I need to touch all the gems. So the sort of theme here is swamps and electricity. So those are a cycle. And if I'm standing on those when they're electrified, I'll take some damage. And there'll also be a damage animation that stops me for a bit. There are a lot more of those in this level. And some of them have some sort of special things about them that we'll get to. So it actually turns out to work best to sort of duck into the two ends of that sort of tent area separately, because there is stuff to get around the edge of, outside of it too. Yeah. There's a lot going on in this next part. You got a few rockets that are, well, that go to some chests with no real way to, well, no way other than the rocket to open them. And then we had that jump and glide there where I wall glided against that thing in the middle so that I could get to here, which without doing that, you actually have to get here from where the end of the level is. But that opens these up so that I can collect everything in them. And that triangular portion off to the side that was the first part of it I went on to, even though it's animated as part of the swamp there, actually isn't part of it, so you can stand on it and not get damaged. These last two there, and that is Taurus Village. since I have a green sparks, I will get that piece of fodder there. And then the iframes from that first one last just long enough for you to charge into that second one and have it chain react with the third one without you taking damage again, so that's what I did there. And then down here we have Wild Flight. Has some really nice music. And also has boats, so I've got to be careful not to actually go into the water. And that's too difficult, but doing things like this, the cycle works out where those arches that are up high don't have boats going under them, so no need to deal with that situation. And then over here we have chests and planes. So there's a fourth plane in that, but we let it go by and we can just get it there. So just a little more homeworld stuff, and this next level is not a good one. Mainly due to some annoyances caused by the enemies in it, and it only having 2 pieces of fodder throughout the whole thing. Alright. So there are these enemies here. If one of them hits you, which that one almost did, it eats you and sort of you move around a bit in there, and then it spits you out, but it takes a while for that to happen, so you don't want that to happen. So here, oh, that was close. Here we are going to be coming back through here for reasons, so that's why I only got 2 of the 3 there. Whoops. Because we end up there after some platform jumps and glides only accessible from the end of the level. So, oh, those frogs might line up for that boar to charge through them. That's always helpful. Yeah, those frogs can be another annoyance because the range of their tongue attack if you don't time a flame very well in a charge to up to 1, the tongue will hit you. This is the sort of thing that was only, well, that we had to get to from the end of the level, so we'll then cross back through the sort of a path leading to a side path that near the beginning of it that we didn't initially get because we are just going to be back here from this anyway. That and the beginning of the level, the one at the beginning of the level, are the only pieces of fodder in this level. So getting hit in this level hurts. And there you can see sort of the range of the frog's tongue attacks. And since I have no sparks and I'm therefore one hit away from death, I took those last couple a little bit carefully. But also because of that, I have to actually touch all of these gems. Okay. So because of that, I've still got to do this until we get into the next level, which is treetops. But there's some fodder not too far into it, so I don't have to deal with the sparksless situation for that much longer. And this level pretty much completely revolves around supercharging. It's mainly a bunch of treetops with paths through them and gaps between them. And there are supercharged ramps on some of them to let you get between different parts of them. Some of which can be a bit tough to do without knowing a route to get to stack supercharges in some cases. Which, is a bit of a... Ooh! Alright, I thought I would hit that piece of fodder and at least have some sparks to finish that platform. Yeah, but thankfully the dragon we hit wasn't far back from it at all. But the intended path towards where... Had to make sure I hit all of... Oh, I did hit all of those. Alright, we are death warping back up there, but the intended path to where I am about to go actually involves using a the two supercharged ramps I just used, plus going backwards up one in another part of the level. So if the thief isn't there for you to chase to learn that path, which unless you move through the level in a very particular way, he won't be. That can be really tough to figure out casually. But that's sort of the green thief side of this. So here we have the red thief side of it, but we were able to use the size of the flame hitbox to defeat the red thief before the red thief even started moving on the path that you're supposed to use supercharges to chase him through. So we don't have to deal with that. So we sort of saw this a bit in high caves, but with supercharging, you can jump off of steep parts of the steep level geometry, steeper than you can get through with an ordinary charge. And so that's what I did to get up to the top there without needing to stack up 2 supercharges. That particular jump is known as Stone Knot Skip after a runner who came up with that. And here's Metalhead, the boss of this. You're normally supposed to go, climb over some more electrified swamp segments to get up there, but you can also just jump onto the top of the wall of that bridge. So there's sort of 2 halves to this level. There's this first area, which isn't really all that different from any other level, and then there's the Metalhead fight. This side path, which can be a bit tricky to spot, is where the key is that unlocks a chest that is in sort of a cave beside the arena for phase 2 of the boss. And is also what you have to do to get up to these platforms here. And also those large enemies kicking smaller ones towards you is sort of a preview of Metalhead throwing those enemies at you, which has some implications for gem collection when it comes to the timing of delivering the hits to Metalhead. But thankfully, when a thrown enemy hits a wall, it just dies and you automatically get the gem. So let's begin the fight. So you can't damage Metalhead directly. Instead, you have to knock down these power poles by charging them. As soon as I get the last one in this room, that ends phase 1. So you could see an enemy above Metalhead die on a ledge up there. These gems here come from a line of enemies waiting to be thrown at you by Metalhead. But they all instantaneously die when you deliver, when Metalhead takes damage. So that could include one that is in the middle of the room after having been thrown but before hitting the wall, which leaves a gem in the middle of the arena if that happens, and you've got to watch out for that situation to remember to get the gem. But now there's the second phase done. And with these, up here, now getting across to that platform there is really, really tight. At least without the help of charging at the end of your glide. But, yeah, this must have caused some problems for a lot of people, because in the PAL version of this game, the gems that are on that are over on that platform have been moved to just be on the main platform of that. Oh. Yeah, we gotta go through here to get the key. Yeah, the key and the gems on some of these stumps here. Oop, wasn't quite ended there. So that's what that key opened. And here we do a sort of a spin jump to, well, doing that against an, okay, I did get that gem. Yeah, facing away from a sloped edge like that and jumping up it and turning around can sort of help boost you onto it, which is what I did there. But the thing I was saying about that gem is that if you just charge towards the balloonist, you start the interaction with the balloonist before you hit the gem, and then hitting that gem doesn't actually end up counting. So that's why I jumped a bit there, landed on the gem, and then when I landed, that caused the balloonist interaction to happen. So this is Dreamweavers, the 5th world. Sort of adds some somewhat things of a whimsical or otherwise just unusual nature there. So that was a fool. They cannot be defeated, but if they're hit, they cause something to happen in the level on a timer. In that case, lowering that platform that had that 5 gem on it. And we'll see a good bunch more of those in some other levels, although not in this one. But this is Haunted Towers. This is the other level with Super Flame Fairies. So you're intended to use the Super Flame from each fairy to open something that will let you go to another part of the level. But if you're quick enough, you can take that first one to open the barrier to that you're supposed to use the second fairy to get. And you can supercharge out the top of the ramp there by doing that sort of U maneuver there due to the mechanics of getting supercharged being a little bit odd. And get to this hidden part of the level. Just a bit faster than using the intended path would have been. But that fairy there, the super flame you get from that one does not expire. Well, so I have it for the rest of this life within this level. So that'll cause me not to have to be running back to Super Flame Fairies a lot to deal with the many things in this level that require Super Flame. There I flame charged a charge chest because when else are you going to get to do that? And then I can drop down into... So this room here is what is at the bottom of the supercharge ramp that I went out the top of. And the intended path over to that area is to go out that left metal door and then jump around some other platforms that that leads to then get to the ramp that I landed on from the top, and then you get to that landing portion. But that'll end up being the one door in that room I don't open, because I can get to where that leads to from where this one leads to. And here's that second fairy that we skipped, so I gotta come over here to get the gems that are around it. But still better than if I had to do that first and get the super flame from the fairy too while I was over here. So now that we have that all handled and have the... Whoa! Okay, I gotta be careful here because I do not have sparks. And dying here is really, really bad because you lose the super flame. But doing that pretty much turns this into going back towards the beginning of the level, rounding up all the gems and other things that you need the super flame for much more easily. And one of the nice things about super flame is that it one-shots fan chests, so I didn't have to flame that 3 times. I did not get that gem. I thought that that would end up being a flame charge. It was not, but that's Haunted Towers. So there is a chain of whirlwinds that gets you back here from that area, but it's faster to just death warp to the beginning of the homeworld. So that will bring us to Dark Passage. So the fools make an appearance again. This time, lighting and extinguishing a lantern they're holding on a timer, and hitting them causes the lantern to remain lit for some time. Which is nice because enemies in the vicinity of one of these will become larger when the light is not on, and smaller when the light is on. And in the case of those turtles, they have to be small for you to defeat them. There is nothing you can do when they're big. Oh, I had a feeling I might end up... Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to get that out well. So we drop down to this side path here that has a slightly ridiculous number of gems on it. I think this may have more than half of the gems in the level. And this side path actually includes the entirety of this second island here. And then there's this room where this fool never actually lights his lantern. You have to hit him to get the lantern lit and become able to defeat those turtles. Yep, 274 is the right number of gems to have here. So then we have this portion here. And fun fact about that goop down there, I believe that it will not actually hurt you. I have no reason to go onto it, but I don't believe anything will happen if you do. So this is the end of that second island there. So we have some things to get here. And this whole side path ends up leading us to a rocket. So that will open up that armored chest that is on that platform that is convenient. Did I get that? Yes. That is conveniently right after I drop down into the side path. But that means that from hitting that dragon, I entered a particularly critical section where if I were to die between hitting that dragon and getting the first gem that comes out of the chest, I would have had to go through the entire side path again. Because I would have respawned at the dragon and needed to relight the rocket. So now we'll have a bit of homeworld clearing out. Now, those cannon shots that change the size of these enemies, it may look like those are on a cycle, but it's really, it really starts based on proximity to the enemies affected, so that wasn't me missing a cycle. It just would have happened anyway as I approached them. But by climbing up these platforms, I can get to the cannon that's shooting those, let's see, there we go. And I can shrink these, or I can get cannon glitch. Yep, I got cannon glitch. Sometimes the cannon will not actually shrink those two. So, yeah, if that happens, you gotta death warp and hope that they will this time. It's been a long time since I've had that happen to me in a run. Yeah, but the enemy that was controlling that cannon will not shrink those two, so I had to do that myself. Oh! Alright, I've never fallen there in that way. I was actually tempted to just go on the fly, do lofty instead, and I suddenly realized that I didn't have to go all this way because those enemies were already not there, but well, that's what happens when I fall in a place where I very rarely, or in this case, I don't think I have ever fallen in that way in that location. So, whoops. Yeah, but shrinking those enemies is how we get to the flight level here. AC flight. So some of the relative positions of the lights in the chest can be a bit annoying, like that one that's below that high one, but we deal with it. And we sort of dive bomb the final train so that we hit the track when Spyro starts doing the animation and skip it in that way. So that brings us to Lofty Castle, where there is also really, really nice music. And also some other special things in this level. This level has some unusually low denomination gems in certain places. And some gems, some places where there aren't gems where you would expect them. So that makes me think that this originally was supposed to have 500 gems, but they ended up deciding later to remove 100 of them to make the gem counts add up to as they want. So I think that's how that came to pass. But that platform that I made this jump from, which I was able to make with the help of charging at the end of a glide, is intended to require me to break cages that have 3 fairies in them so that they will go over and start the whirlwind. But you can just barely make it without that. But in here, I do have to do that to unlock a whirlwind up to the top of a supercharge. So those are the 3 fairies, and getting the gems that are down here gives them enough time to get to the pad where the whirlwind comes from. And there we go. So let's see. There we are. So you're intended to sort of go all the way around that circular island. But yeah, curving around a bit in the air makes you not have to do that. And we do have to open the fairy cages here because the whirlwind that they lead to... one that you can't get to where it goes without it. Well, there are ways in other routes of this level, but those aren't routes of this level that I do. I should have 217, I do. So, red fan chest height. This is the only fan chest in the game that contains merely a single red gem. And then I need to get the fairies here to activate the whirlwind up to that platform with the level exit, which we will not be using, and 15 gems. Because we have things to do here. So we're going to actually make that same jump again, just we have the key now, so we can clear out the bottom there. So that was again charging at the end of the glide. But we got another special unique chest here, if I can get here without taking a hit because I have no sparks. Red spring chest height. That is the only one in the game. And if anyone happens to be a sub to Debbie and Sean, there's a very relevant emote for that. I thought I saw Debbie and Sean in here earlier. Yeah. But anyway, that's the sort of last regular level in this world. But, well, there is the boss level, Jacques. So this has some fools that raise platforms on a timer. So there are two platforms here where I need to hit two fools to get up there, and this I need it to get these gems and the key here, and to get to... Oh, that's... I slightly overshot it, but being quick enough and accurate enough to land back on that will allow doing both things with only one activation of these timers, skipping having to raise, well, that sort of cake-looking thing again, so that is known as cake skip, if I were to have gotten that. So we'll go do the boss. I skipped the dragon because the place you end up standing after the cutscene is on the level side of it, so I have to go back out to do the main branch of the, well, the other main branch of the level, so it's so it works out better to get the dragon on the way out. But that is Jacques. There's sort of a side path to this level that I'll be finishing the level on. Alright, once I clear this out. And that side path comes from lowering that mysterious platform that I went past, which this fool on that fork of the level does. For the platform on this fork of the level. And then we just finish in this side path. So the gems from those auto home in no matter what circumstances you defeat the enemy in. So that's nice not to have to potentially deal with gems that dropped on the top of those platforms. But that is the level, Jacques. So 15 more gems on the way to the balloonist, and we will be on to the final world. So Nasty's world, homeworld, known as Nork Nexus, is pretty small and compact, and has multiple levels in dragon mouths. And these open when you exit the level before them in through its exit vortex. Although in the PAL version, 100%ing the level would be enough, even if you pause an exit level. So this first one is Nork Cove. And the main mechanic here, special to this level, is these barrels. And these barrels do like super tier damage. so they will open up chests of that type. And there are the metal ones that you charge and they explode when they hit something, and there are the TNT ones which will instantaneously explode if you charge them and will put themselves on a short timer to explode if you fling them. And some of these are holding barrels in their hand, mostly TNT barrels. I'm just gonna let myself respawn there so that, because this is where I end up. Also, when you flame a TNT barrel, the last like warning buzz is actually after it explodes, which is a bit odd. So I'm gonna try and do a trick here that involves charging one of these TNT barrels as it's falling on me with the correct timing, and I got it. When that happens, it will explode a different barrel later in the level, and also break open that armored chest there. Without doing that, you have to break that by charging this barrel down onto it, and then you have to go back to it, and that's an annoying backtrack to do. That is known as barrel skip. There, yet again, the TNT barrel. Buzz, 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 explode buzz. Now, if I can hit this barrel just right, I can get, well, helps to actually hit the barrel. I hit those two, but needed to hit another barrel to the armored chest there. Yeah. Ideally, you can get all three with one barrel if it's positioned right. Alright, I should have 352 here, and I do. So then there's just this little tunnel over to the exit portal. So that is Nork Cove. So only 3 levels are left. So that opened up the dragon mouth with the portal to Twilight Harbor. And Twilight Harbor has a the special mechanic here is a lot of enemy types that well, we haven't seen the projectiles yet. We will on the next island there. Okay. I'm not sure I've ever bonked on that ledge before. There we go. Yeah, those yeah, you'll get a better view from the next one, but they shoot Doritos at you. Or at least that's what I like to think they look like. There we go, there's some floating Doritos. And I took some to the face. Yeah, but I always like to to fill Debbie and John's chat with Doritos chips during this level. Right, I do need that extra life because... So, due to that dragon being there are sort of two paths here. This upper one where you need to supercharge off the bridge in the open position to get to. And then you need to go through it with it closed to get to that armored chest. So you sort of need to do 2 supercharges off of this, and that dragon's there, so we just death warp back from both of them. So that is the level before that dragon, now all finished. There's just the final part here. Just a few more floating Doritos to deal with. When I do that, I actually complete the rows of floating Doritos with an emote of mine that's of Spyro bonking. It fits the situation in this level really well. But that is Twilight Harbor, so all that's left is Nasty Nork and Nasty's loot. So here we go. Nasty Nork is the final boss here, but well, there's a bonus level after it, effectively, which is still part of this. But this is the only boss that any percent really needs to beat. But the way this level works is you gotta get these 2 keys from Key Thieves that unlock more parts of the level. Oh, also, that one runs towards you if you approach along the right wall. Technically, that's not faster, just barely in 120%, but in any percent it definitely is. And it makes me not have to deal with making sure I hit all the gems while also chasing that, so I figured it would be good to show that show the any percent kill. But that gives us access to the platform that Nasty is on, so I gotta chase him around this loop. And the spring chests make this a bit tricky, but ideally I can catch up to him at the end with enough time to spare that I can deliver the next hit before he goes back down and makes me have to chase him around the loop again. There we go, that is single lap and also getting all of the gems there. So there is Nasty Nork defeated. And that had the last 100 gems in the level. So
What about Ganasty Ganor?
you can't skip this. Well, there's some asterisks on that, but so I gotta sit through this. I mean, I could, well, opening the disc tray with proper timing will end the credits early from one of the level fly-throughs failing to load, but I don't feel good enough about doing that to risk the remainder of the run on it, so I'm not going to. But it actually is possible to skip those credits by doing a proxy jump off of Nasty Nork in that final position there. And that launches you out of bounds because the ceiling of that room isn't solid. And you can glide out and turn around and glide back under, flare back a bit, and that will allow your flame to go upwards a bit and hit Nasty from below. And then your glide continues into the ooze at the bottom of the passage there, and you die in it. But it takes long enough for that to happen that all 4 of those 25 gems spawn and go to you from that little cutscene there. So that would count as getting everything in the level, but then you don't have to sit through this. It is really, really tough to do, but that is what credit skip would be. So we have a bit more credits. So yeah, I see some donations have come in, so go ahead.
Yeah, all right, I can do that. So we do, in fact, have a couple of donations. We have $10 from SCXCR, who is actually going to be is actually another runner. He's got a run coming tomorrow, who just simply asks, "Is it about that time?" I'm pretty sure I saw this one come in actually before we even went live. Must have been camping that Tiltify page. And we also have $10 from Caffeinated Constellations, who just says, "Happy to support," with a heart. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, nice. Thanks. All right, that brings us to the end of those credits. So this dragon that spawned here is the final dragon. And these gems are the final gems. That opens up this dragon mouth with Nasty's loot. So that represents 100% that we have. So this level, which will not take anywhere near the amount of time the percentage would suggest, is the remaining 20%. Because with all these high denomination gems, there are 2,000 more gems here. And there's a special mechanic here, which is that instead of gliding, Spyro can fly, but only up to the highest height that he has previously reached and jumped and flown from. So these keys, I got one. This is going to be the second one. Oh, here you can sort of see the fan chest projectile doing its thing. But there are 4 keys in this level, and all they do is unlock passages to higher ground, because that then opens up more of the level to you due to how the flying mechanic works. So the 3rd and 4th ones are in planes that I gotta chase using my flying. But hopefully I can line myself up right to get that as it goes there. So then that key opens this, and this amount of height's good enough. All right, and if I can position myself just right, I can get the quick kill on the 4th one. Oh, really helped if I actually had stayed on there though. So that gives us the ultimate high ground. And that sort of understates it by only putting a 10 gem up there. But we'll deal with these last few rockets. and getting the... I hope I lit that one. And getting the gems that those lead to. I did not light that rocket. That sounds like I lit it. So that's enough height to get us up to here where this final room is. Loaded with fireworks chests and 25 gems. So ready on time because I'm about to exit this level with like 100% ready and time. Alright. So that is Spyro 120%. And yeah, it was good to do this to get things started here. I actually, on Sunday I'm going to be doing another run, Crash 2 100%. But well, there's well, plenty more happening in between, so good luck to all the remaining runners. I can't wait to see a lot of the runs that are coming up. But thanks for letting me open this thing up.
Absolutely, and thanks for opening it up for us, because that was a lot of fun. Spyro 120% is a really fun run, and we're happy you showed us a great show here. Thank you so much. And like Stump said, we got a lot still to go. As soon as I can get to this thing to cooperate. There we go. All right.